Joe Mixon and the Cincinnati Bengals both had big years in 2021. For Mixon personally, he had a breakout season statistically and in terms of accolades. He had a career high in rushing attempts, rushing yards, rushing touchdowns, and receiving yards. Mixon's team, the Cincinnati Bengals, established themselves as one of the top teams in the league last season. Coming into the year, the general consensus was that the Bengals would still be a rebuilding team and would have one of the worst records in the league. Many believed that the team was still far too young and had too many holes in its roster to compete in a very competitive AFC North division. Despite this, the Bengals offense led the team to a playoff appearance and a playoff run that went all the way to the Super Bowl. Although they fell short of their ultimate goal of winning it all, last year was still an amazing season for Mixon and the Bengals, and many believe that they'll be back at their best next season. Today we'll be breaking down just how good Joe Mixon is after a career last year, and many are skeptical if this will be what to expect for Mixon this season or if his performance last year was just a flash in the pan. His college career. Joe Mixon was a standout running back during his college career at Oklahoma. Coming into the draft, he was one of the top prospects at his position. Mixon spent the last 2 seasons with the Sooners. Although he had a standout talent coming out of high school, Mixon was not the starting option for Oklahoma coming into his freshman year. However, he did still see the field a fair amount and accumulated 113 rushing attempts for 753 yards and 7 touchdowns on the ground. Through the air, Mixon racked up 28 receptions for 356 yards and 4 touchdowns. Mixon would earn the starting spot for the Sooners in his sophomore season, and he would go on to thrive in his role. Despite playing in one less game than his freshman season, Mixon totaled 187 carries for 1,274 yards and 10 touchdowns on the ground in his second season with Oklahoma. Along with this, he also caught 37 passes for 538 yards and 5 touchdowns. Although there were some rumblings about Mixon from the NFL scouts during his freshman year, he put his name on the map as one of the best running backs in the 2017 draft class in his second season. Before the 2017 NFL draft, a video would leak showing Mixon punching a woman in a bar. The punch would knock the woman unconscious and fracture 4 bones in her face. Mixon was charged with misdemeanor assault before he stepped foot on Oklahoma's campus. Once NFL teams and the public were made aware of this video, many were against Mixon, and he tanked to the second round of the draft. In the second round, with the 48th overall pick of the 2017 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals would select Joe Mixon. His NFL career up to this point. Mixon has spent 5 seasons in the NFL up to this point, spending his entire career with the Cincinnati Bengals. Once again, Mixon would have to earn his starting spot. During his rookie season, he would only start in 7 of the 14 games that he played in. However, towards the tail end of his rookie season, Mixon would take over as the team's primary back. In this second season in the league and first full season as the Bengals' starting running back, Mixon would have his first 1,000-yard rushing year on the ground. He would finish the year with 1,168 yards and 8 touchdowns on 237 rushing attempts. Through the air, he would pull in 43 passes for 296 yards and his first and only NFL career receiving touchdown at that point in his career. Mixon would keep the ball rolling in his third year in the NFL. Although the Bengals were underperforming as a team, Mixon was doing more than pulling his weight. He accumulated 1,137 yards and 5 touchdowns on 278 rushing attempts. In the passing game, Mixon had 35 catches for 287 yards and 3 touchdowns on 25 receptions. His 2020 campaign would be cut short due to injuries, and he would only participate in 6 games. Prior to his injury, Mixon was playing some of the worst football of his life since his rookie year. Although his 2020 season was one to forget, Mixon made sure to make 2021 a huge bounce back. It was by far the best season of his career statistically and in terms of team success. He had totaled 292 carries for 1,205 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns. This was the first time in his career that Mixon would eclipse 1,200 rushing yards and 10 touchdowns in his career. Through the air, with a fully healthy Joe Burrow, Mixon had 42 receptions for 314 yards and 3 touchdowns. This would be a career high in receiving yards and would tie his career high in receiving touchdowns. Mixon would also be named to his first ever Pro Bowl last year. Along with his incredible personal success, the Bengals also went on a big run last season. As previously mentioned, many didn't think that the Bengals or Mixon would amount to much in the 2021 season. Despite this, the Bengals made a Super Bowl appearance and Mixon made a Pro Bowl. This could be the start of something huge in Cincinnati. With Mixon coming off a career-best season, many do not know what to expect from him in the 2022 season. Some expect him to regress back to the level he was playing at prior to the 2021 season, while others believe that he'll continue to be a borderline elite back. Best case scenario for Joe Mixon in the NFL. The best case scenario for Joe Mixon heading into the 2022 season is that he can continue to build upon his great 2021 campaign. It's clear that the Bengals are not pass-dominant offense, and that is something that will not change. As a result of this, Mixon's ceiling on his team is capped a bit. Despite this, he still has the potential to be a 1,300 to 1,500 yard back. Along with this, Mixon could become a bigger factor in the passing game this season. This is more likely an option out of the two on how Mixon can continue to evolve his game and improve his stats. Throughout his career, he has not been much of a receiving back. However, with Burrow becoming one of the best quarterbacks in the league, he could make the job much easier for Mixon. It's clear that Mixon is a part of the Bengals' core for the foreseeable future. As a result of this, he will continue to play a major role in the offense and be able to put up comparable numbers to the 2021 season. Worst case scenario for Joe Mixon in the NFL? Well, the worst case scenario for Mixon is that he reached his peak in 2021. He's been a player that has been susceptible to injuries in the past, and the possibility still remains with Mixon heading into the next season. The running back room in Cincinnati takes a very steep fall-off after Mixon. As a result of this, an injury or even a regression in his play could make a detrimental impact on the team. There's a chance that Mixon could statistically take a step back this season. With Burrow continuing to progress as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, the offense will continue to be more pass-dominant. As a result of this, Mixon will see his numbers continue to go down when compared to 2021. Even if this is the case and he does see fewer touches next season, Mixon has been more efficient with his carries than at any other point of his career. When comparing Mixon to the other running backs across the NFL, many believe that he's nearing the status of elite. He's widely considered to be a top 10 running back in the NFL. However, if he can continue to play consistently at this level, he may move up a few notches. And that's how we end today's video. So what do you think about Joe Mixon heading into the 2022 season? Are there any other NFL players you'd like us to cover? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to leave a like on this video if you're a fan of the NFL, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Until next time.